Hello. It's been a while, but I gotta say, I have missed you so much. We have been so busy rebuilding, rebranding, going different directions to bring you even more um, creative ways to set yourself apart in the industry. So let's get ready to dive in and let me show you some of the new creations we've come up with. Our whole mission is to give you the edge in your market at your craft fairs, art fairs, galleries. We believe these new forms could take you into galleries. So let's get started. Okay, today I got smart. So y'all know my birds are in here, and you know every time I go live and open my mouth, they open their beaks. So I went over and covered them in hopes that today they'll be a little quieter. The other thing, let me give you a little tip. One of the things I like to do when I get in my studio is obviously relax. Clay, I believe, is meant to be relaxing. There are days, though, right, where nothing goes right. The clay flops. We can't ever make two of anything the same if we're trying to create a set. That's where Sharon Hoppy Designs comes in. We give you the tools to, whether you're a brand new beginner or a very seasoned potter, we give you the tools to create sets if you want, and have them look so professional, polished, finished. We give you the forms, the templates, the ideas, the blank canvas. And then you take it and put your spin on it and run with it. Now, one of the things I like to do before I get started is, this is just me, but I have lavender oil. It doesn't matter really the brand or whatever, but I like to take lavender oil because it's something that just soothes me and calms me. And I like to just put it right across my apron and put it aside and forget about it. That lavender oil, and don't do this if lavender oil bothers you or if there's a different scent of some kind that is very calming to you. I find putting it here and it just comes up and I don't even notice it, but it's so calming. In fact, let me tell you a quick story. When I go to bed at night, as you can well imagine, my brain is just like squirrel, 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 going here, going there, this idea, that idea. How can I make clay easier for you? So, in order to squelch my squirrel, I'll take my lavender oil and I put it on my pillow. And I lay down and golly, within minutes, I'm like, gone. When I don't, it's then I can't sleep. So I've got my lavender oil on. Oh, by the way, I got this apron quite a while back from Charlie Sabo. I am not sure if she's still out there doing aprons, but you might want to look her up on Facebook because if she is, her aprons are awesome. I actually picked this one because I love the farm animals and thought, ooh, what an inspiration for a great design, which I will still create. Just haven't done that yet. Okay, so let me go down to the overhead or up to the overhead. Here's the big overhead. And I'm going to start down here. I am simply going to grab my bucket of water and put it over here. I like to just slightly dip it in the water. And I'm just going to compress this And I've got a fairly large slab of clay. Now today, as we were reorganizing the studio, I came across boxes and boxes of my local clay supplier, Trinity Supply in Dallas. They make a clay of their own. It's called T-Mix, which is like almost identical to B-Mix, Laguna's B-Mix. And so I ran across these boxes that have been hiding in my studio. And so I thought, okay, I need to use that up. And like I said, this clay works and feels and acts just like B-Mix. So if you're using B-Mix, we're basically using the same clay. Now I'm going to lightly flip this over, trying not to fold it and all that. And just compress this backside real quick, because I don't know if you can tell. Here's my hand. This is how big this slab is. Now, I am testing a form. So this slab it's over 1/4 of an inch. It is about 3/8 of an inch. Because I have a beaded form. That's right, it's beaded. Now, I'm going to show you. I hit it. I think a lot of you have seen this on social media already, but look at this bad boy. Okay, and then of course I did my signature braided foot that I do from my battery-powered extruder. It's not really an extruder. It's at your big box store under battery-powered caulk gun. C-A-U-L-K, caulk gun. We call it an extruder, and it extrudes. But look at this. Can you imagine this? This could be in a gallery. But at the end, I'm going to tell you more about this. For now, I'm going to create this. And I think I'm going to start with the brand new sister to that, which you've not seen and I've never tested. This we're going to test together for the very, very first time. You know, one of my favorite shapes of ours is the curvaceous square. And I know there's a lot of you on here that absolutely love that shape and have made dinnerware sets, serving bowls, all kinds of things out of curvaceous square. Well, how about this for a serving dish? Oh my gosh. It is a beaded curvaceous square with our signature finger holds, peg hole in the middle so that you can put it on our banding wheel system that does not slide off. So this is a very first. So now that I have my clay compressed, I'm going to actually go off camera, move the clay so I can get my banding wheel system set up, and then come back and set up my form on my banding wheel system. And we're going to drop this big bad boy on top of it and let the fun begin. Okay, I'm working with the Shimpo banding wheel because they spin so nicely, though a Lazy Susan, other brands work just as good. Our banding wheel system that we've created sits right over the top of it, and look, you can't push it off, and you can spin this. It's going nowhere. So if you're a thrower and you want to do something on the wheel or on the banding wheel system instead, great. And if you're not a thrower, but you want to have that wheel effect, This is perfect. How many of you used to spin your banding wheel and you have a wear board on top and you're spinning it trying to do something and it's going clear over there and you pull it back and you spin it and now it goes over here? Ours attaches right over the top and goes nowhere. Perfect. So let me find a peg and I'm going to tell you my bet is Mr. Wilson stole my peg. You can rest assured he did. So pause while I go steal it back. I stole the peg. I stole the peg. By the way, sometimes the metal rods, we can't always control the exact shapes, exact size of them. So if it's just slightly tight, take a piece of sandpaper, go around, or stick in there and go around just a hair, and then it'll slide right in. Only go as far as it'll go. Don't try to bang it in because there's a hard stop in there for a reason. Now, speaking of that reason, our normal forms, all, for instance, Ron's salad dish, they're designed to put a lip template around it or a rim template in order to cut out your rim, and that's a 1/4 inch thick. So these are really designed, the depth of the hole in the banding wheel system and in the form is designed to have a 1/4 inch template in there. So I'm not going to use a template with this, but if I just put this on there, it'll rock, or you'll have a tendency to bam and try to slam it on there. No, that's not good. You don't want to do that to your form, and you'll never get it off. So just put a template, slide it on. You're not going to use that, so it doesn't matter. But now it's not rocking. So I just stick it under there as a placeholder. All right, so I am ready. So this is how the banding wheel system works. Put your peg in. Put a template on. Put your form on. And now the magic is in the mud. Let's go get our slab and let's plop it over here. Now, I'm going to have to go get my slab, so I'm going to have to go off camera. And if I turn the camera off, go get it and come back, well, I'm holding this big slab. I can't turn it back on. So I'm going to go grab that, and we're going to come down, and we're going to put the slab of clay on this form. And then what I'm going to want to do is get the bulk of the clay up on here and cut off the excess fairly quickly so it's not pulling that clay and stretching it. So, let's take a deep breath and let's go get this big slab. Be right back. All right, and trying to center this. Ooh, I think I did. Perfect. And I just flopped it over there very gently, and I'm lifting these edges, and I'm just gonna kind of pull this up so that it's in there. See how I'm lifting and pushing it up into here? And I'm just kind of up and in very, very gently. Now, I'm going to grab my pin tool. I use the Zeem, XM, Zeem, whatever you want to call it. It's got a scorer at one end and a needle at another end, and I love it. So I'm just going to come around, and I'm going to try to keep this excess flat. So if I want to create a foot, I've got that to create a foot, or foots, because I got extras. Oops. And then I'm going to come across here. Okay. Now these forms are a little different in the fact that, oh, I can't peek it. They have oh, here. They have these big, tall edges. And you think, oh my gosh, I don't want it that thick. It's not going to be. You'll see. It's going to be, it's its own template. It's its own lip template. So I'm actually going to start just with my Mud Tool smoothing sponge. And I'm going to wring it out so it's barely wet. And I'm just going to come across and swoop. Do the swoop. We love our swooping. I keep telling you, we got the swooping t-shirts coming. You do the swoop, and you can get the t-shirt. And I can see how this is, you see that? See how that's going in? And if I go across, I can see that that's going in, and I'm pressing that clay in. This is why I made this slab just a little thicker than normal. One, it's a big dish. You don't want it fragile and flimsy, especially if you're going to be serving food in it, or maybe you're going to do something to, oops, put this in a gallery. And when I tell you what's coming, as far as the gallery goes, you are going to love it. So swoop, swoop. All right, now I'm just going to, and again, my sponge is just barely damp. And you see where this edge is? That's going to be important in a few minutes. And these are super easy to use. The magic's in the mud and the kiss. And that kiss is, we keep it simple. So even the beginners, even people new to clay, don't get frustrated. And they can produce a gorgeous, gorgeous dish that they can be proud of right out of the gate. And instead of frustration, they are excited and want to continue on this journey with all of us. And what a journey it is, right? The family, the camaraderie, the whole thing. And in our group, we are a family. We're a family. Come share in the group. Community over competition, right? There's room for all of us out there. Now I'm going across here because I can see that little ledge of what was inside. And I can see all of my ripples. So I know I got the clay in there good. And I'm really going slow. I would go a lot faster if I was just making this in my studio. Don't forget to come out to the edge. And I did. I forgot to come out to the edge. You can come out to the edge and then just kind of push that clay down over the edge. Down over this edge. Just kind of, whoops, swoop it down over this edge. You'll see why in a minute. I've been working on this ever since I started this video. This video of going to go get my clay. 10 minutes. That's it. So far, 10 minutes. To make a big gorgeous bowl like this, which is why I'm taking the extra time to really finesse this down over my edges. Because 10 minutes for a dish like this, you gotta be kidding, right? Okay, now, do I wanna put a foot? If I do, look at, I have this to go by. And if I was gonna put a foot, this is a big dish. I want a big foot. So I'm gonna stop this video here, and then we'll come back and decide if we want a foot or not. Chat soon. Okay, for this gorgeous dish, and if you remember, on this one, I did my braided foot because these lines kind of go with these lines and made it super gorgeous. And I do this with my battery powered extruder, which in remodeling and redoing my studio, for the life of me, I don't know where it went. So much for reorganization, right? So I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna take some of this clay and I'm just gonna roll it up and move this. And I'm just gonna wedge this a bit. I have weak wrists, so I kind of wedge two-handed with one hand over the other into this ram's horn. And then roll it. Now I would really wedge longer than that. And I don't need nearly this much. So I'm gonna cut that in half. And then I'm just gonna squeeze. Squeeze it into a smaller coil. Because you can do so much with this. Squeeze it somewhat down to size. And this one thing about this tea mix is I do notice it gets those little baby cracks in it. Let me get this out of my way. Okay. And then I'm going to take my spray bottle and just lightly spray my table and roll this out. I know you can't see the whole thing. Come over here. I'm just rolling this out so it's more size proportionate to this dish. And you notice I'm just taking my time. Did I turn my camera on? I did. I'm just taking my time rolling this, getting it even. If I get a spot that's not, I'll just come and concentrate on that spot and get it down even with the rest. And I'm doing the same thing over here. And I want to see oh, I've got plenty. So I'm gonna cut a chunk of this off. And what I like to do is take my sponge and kind of smooth out from where I squeezed it, just to make it smooth. And my sponge, I wring it out really well. It's just barely damp. So I'm not getting a bunch of water into this. Now, we have such an elegant dish. A little fat on the end here. We have such an elegant dish. I'm going to make a fairly simple foot. So I'm going to follow this line and just come in and just kind of follow that. And just like that. And I'm going to find me a brush. And I'm just going to wet this. You can use slip, magic water, but this is so wet, fresh clay, that I don't think I'm going to have an issue at all. And then I'm going to pick this up and I'm just going to flop it once. And when I flip it over, what I've done is flatten that bottom so that I can just come across and score this. So I'm just going to score it all the way across. And I'm going to wet this. I'm late for Christmas. I made my daughter this really cool platter for Christmas. And as I was outside cleaning it up prior to sticking it in the bisque fire, one of my dogs jumped on me and there went the dish. And so I have made her another one and I'm waiting for it to dry so that I can finish her Christmas. I know it's March. It'll probably be Christmas in July. How many of you do that? Christmas in July. Put it in the chat. Okay, now I'm going to start this in the center. I don't want to start on an edge. And this is kind of a tall foot, but this is a special dish. Whoops. And I just hold it and push up with my thumb. Hold it and push up with my thumb. And I'm going to cut this at an angle. See how nice and calm? Nice and calm. My lavender helps me. Okay, now I'm going to just push this in and come across with this so that you don't see where it came together. And I like to be a little dramatic with the shape just because this bowl is so dramatic. I'm going to come around this outside. And I do want to keep it somewhat out because I want it to have a good base so it's stable, nice and stable. That inside section that you see on this form, the form, it's 4 inches. So that's nice and stable. Now I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to come and get this excess slip out of here and remove those slip marks. Love my banding wheel system because I can just spin it around. I do not have to worry about knocking my dish off or anything like that. Now, I like to take a template. I like to use the brown side and just kind of, if you're worried about level, put a little level on the top, or just kind of press it down because I want it to be just slightly. See how I just slightly flattened that? So now it's going to sit nice and flat. And again, now I'm going to come in and clean this back up where I've squished out some slip. This is kind of a start to finish, how to use our system. This could, we have a wheel system as well, and you could be doing the same thing on your wheel if you would like. I know that Tiffany Helmer, the Hobble Creek Pottery, has been showing our wheel system. So head on over to Hobble Creek Pottery on YouTube to see that. All right, now you can fancy this up. And once this is dry, I could even go in with sanding paper if I have any little bumps or anything. Now I'm going to just put my little mark in the bottom. Just like that. Look at that, gorgeous. Now, we can do some other things. What can we do to this foot? It's kind of a bubble, a beaded bowl, if you will. So how about if we, let's find something round. How about this? How about we simply put beads in the bottom and just take care to go about the same pressure on each one. This is also going to secure your foot and give it that professional, polished look. Just try to keep it at the same depth. Whoops, stuck my finger in it. That's okay, we can fix that. Look at that. What a difference that did. Now, I am going to just set this here and lightly press. And look at that. And look at how it just goes in the flow with that beaded bowl. Now, I did squish out some slip. So I'm going to go back around with this, inside and out. And there's your foot. Nothing, didn't start out anything fancy, but look at it now. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, now, what are we gonna do with this? So, we've left this on. Normally, what I do is I wait till it stiffens up, and then I go in, I'll go with this. I'll hang the dish over the side, and I'll come, where's my other dish? Oh, right here. And then I'll come, lay my tool right across here, and just keep it flat, go all the way around, and that's going to take this off. But for the sake of showing you how to do it, I'm actually just going to, let's see, I got an itch. I think I'm going to take my, where's my scalpel? I have this scalpel. I'm going to come in. Oh, actually, I don't want to do that. I want to take my needle tool. Where is it? There it is. I'm going to take my needle tool, and I'm going to have to be really careful because I'm doing it soon, and this clay is still soft, and I don't want to mess it up. So what I'm going to do is come in to my edge, And I'm going to pull this clay. Oh, I was hitting the template. I forgot that template was there. I'm like, wait a second. My needle tool should be going in here. So be cognizant of that where I wasn't. And I'm going to come straight across. And can you see my form there? Now, if this was drier, I would simply use that tool and come straight across. And in fact, I think I may wait and do that. But what I will do is take out a lot of this excess clay so that when I come back with this tool, I have room. So I'm going to just take this off. And I can see I'm just leaving a bit around here. Being careful of my template because that's not where my dish is, so I don't care about it. All right, see how that is shaped? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this until it sets up more so that when I can move this, I'm going to come in here and press this in to the edge because this bowl is going to end right here. So I'm going to smooth this down. And then I'm going to let it dry. Not dry. I'm going to let it sit to probably an hour. I'll let it sit for about an hour so that it will stiffen. Not enough. Don't leave this on where your don't leave this on so long that it starts cracking. I had somebody that left it on for, I don't know, 12 or 15 hours. They didn't say their clay cracked, but they did say they couldn't get it off the form. Well, that clay's going to suck in, and no, you're not going to get it off the form after that length of time. The goal and the key is you want it slightly wiggly, not this much, but if after an hour you can tell that that side's going to hold its own, that's when you would want to flip it. Not this one, I haven't cut the sides yet, but that's when you would want to flip it and pull your form out. If your form doesn't want to come, just slightly, let's say you're pulling the form out, just slightly pull the edge out a hair all the way around, and that form's going to pop right out. All right, we're going to let this rest, and we'll be back. I wanted to jump back in for a second. If you're like me and are in a hurry, or a timeline, or a deadline, or you just don't have patience, I'll use my heat gun sometimes. But with our banding wheel system, you can spin this around and you don't have to worry about it flying off and ruining. And then I can just sit here and get an even heat so that it'll stiffen up faster. Now in my normal practice, I don't do that. But when I'm filming for a live or a class, gotta admit, a lot of times I will use the heat gun so that I can get it filmed. And I need those sides to stiffen up. And this is how I do it. I keep it spinning. Don't worry about it flying off, and make sure you keep your heat gun well above, because I will tell you, I have gouged it before, not paying attention. So that's what I do for that. Chat soon. Well, let's perform a little surgery here. A little clay surgery. I've actually found that if I'm going to leave or cut my outer clay off this new style form. Remember, these have these great big edges. I found that my fettling knife is actually good unless my clay is hard enough that I can come around the outside edge like this. And this is usually what I'll do at the end anyway as a final touch. But my fettling knife is long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, I'm going to bring my knife in and turn it flat side against the form and just follow it around. Don't worry, you don't have to make it perfect this first time, but you need to keep that knife flat against the form, because if you slip up and over, well, you slipped a petal, and chances are you cut through your clay. So I'm going to set this on the side. Can you see? My hand's in the way. Set this here, and I'm going to go slow, and I'm going to hold my hands on this, and I'm just going to slide it around. And you may want to do just a little at a time so that you can see where you're going. This is still a little sticky to be doing this. And I got to think about what I'm doing. I'm going to concentrate here. Okay, and I'm going to come back out, pull this off, and remember, take your time. And if you've got gooberies in there like that, don't worry about it. We're going to get that. We're going to get that at the end. Just, you want the bulk off, which is why, if you can hold it up, this actually goes right down the side, perfect. But not everybody has a wire tool, so I'm going to use my knife. Where did I start? There I am. Be careful on the corners. Go slowly on the corners. Remember, I'm pushing this against the form. And if you want to do little pieces at a time, do little pieces at a time. And I come out. And I'm going to come back in. And if you're laying that fettling knife flat against your form, you're not going to cut into the form, so you don't have to worry about that. Don't take it this way. Take it flat this way. I like to go slow on those corners. Okay, now I got pretty much all of it off of the outer. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come around. Now that I can, if you look at this, you see that the gooberies that are left? So I'm going to come where I can see and just go right down the side and look at the difference. See that now? It's perfect. So I'm going to come get the rest of this. Please tell me I turned it on. Okay, I did. And I'm going to come around this side. And you see, like, that's all there was on this side. But once you get the bulk of it off, taking your time, you can go around pretty quickly after that. And that's it. Fettling knife is done. And I'm going to come back to my smoothing sponge. And I'm just going to go around this edge and soften it. Now, I did this a little soon for video's sake. And so you guys could get the whole thing in one sitting. But feel free to watch this in the replay as you're doing it and pause it while you're doing your part and then go back. Don't try to keep up with the video. It's the power of replay. The power of replay. Okay, so I have this done. I mean, just from the backside. It's gorgeous. So what I'm going to do is let this dry so that then we can flip it and see what we got. Remember, I haven't seen it either. Brand new to me. Chat soon. All right. The moment we've all been waiting for. Oh, look at my hand in there. The moment we've all been waiting for. I wanted to make the big screen this moment. So we've cut this off. I've let it sit here. Now what I'm going to do is I like to just take a piece of template material, or you could just take an old template, set it right on top. These forms are heavy, and so you don't want a big old heavy wear board or anything. I'm looking for my needle tool. What I like to do is just go underneath here and lift this so that I can get my hand under it. And I'm actually going to move this stuff out of my way. I could actually use this template that I had. And I'm going to take and put on the top, and I'm going to do a, flip that baby. All right. Are you ready? Oh. Okay. It's a big form, heavy form. So I'm actually going to kind of take it in both finger holds. Oh my God, it popped right out. Oh my gosh. Let me set this over here. And I should have put this on a big so that you could see the whole edge. Hold that thought. Hold on a second. I gotta find the rest of my program. There it is. I'm gonna pause you for a sec. Okay, I had to go and get a bigger template so that you could see this whole dish. Just, oh my gosh. Now, you know me, and this is still a little soft, and I'm a swooper. Swoop a swoop. Okay, so you could leave it like this. Or you can take your sponge, support this because this is still wet, and hold here and just kind of give it a little extra, just a tiny extra swoop, swoop. Swoop, swoop. And now I'm just going to go around this. And I'm not going to do a whole lot because this is still pretty floppy. And I don't want it to totally flop, but oh my gosh. And look at that inside. That is so perfect. So swoop, 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 swoop if you want, or you can leave it flat. Let me move my water. But how is that? I told you. You could create gallery quality. And that, my mudder friends, is magic in the mud. We took our slab to fabulous. Love it. Absolutely love it.